Welcome to This Week in High School Sports. I'm Teresa Whipple here with Steve Willits, and boy, do we have a lot to celebrate.
We do. Probably one of the better weeks we've had for Edmonds School District sports in a very long time. District playoffs this past week. A lot of teams and athletes going to state next week.
Yeah, it's really exciting stuff, and we'll get into it in just a moment. But first, we have to thank our sponsor, Red Onion Burgers and Sean Richards. If you're hungry for a hamburger, a milkshake, you said the shakes are your favorite,
Chocolate
right?
milkshake made
There
with
you
real
go.
chocolate ice
You
cream.
have- Steve says they're good. So stop on by, and they're in Mountlake Terrace, and we appreciate Sean's support as always. So let's talk baseball.
Yeah, the Edmonds-Woodway Warrior baseball team. We just talked to two of the guys in studio last week. They were heading to state. They needed to win 2 games in a row. If they lose one of them, they're out. That was up in Mount Vernon over the weekend. And lo and behold, look what we have here. We've got a picture of the Edmonds-Woodway baseball team celebrating as they are heading to the semifinals of the state tournament. They pick up victories over Mountain View 3-1 on Saturday morning. They then defeat Arlington 8-7 in extra innings to get to the semifinals. So a tough game there. They're going to be playing at Safeco Field now.
So exciting.
Where the big leagues play. So
Very cool.
Yeah, they've got a game Friday night against Gig Harbor, 7 p.m. If they win that game, they're in the state championship, which would take place the very next night. It's a Gig Harbor team, too, I might add, that they trailed in their game against Lakeside in the quarterfinals, 8-0 in the 5th inning. Came back to win that one 10-9. So they know a little thing or two about resiliency, too. So again, Gig Harbor, Edmonds-Woodway at Safeco Field. I like the sound of that. 7 p.m. on Friday night.
Yeah, and I just wonder what they're going to wear to that game. So, we talked about when they were on here before that they were
Pajamas
wearing
and other
pajamas,
things, yeah.
and I heard a story that when they went to their last games, they wore cowboy hats.
Cowboy hats up to Mount Vernon. Probably doesn't work quite as well at Safeco Field, but
Yeah.
I'm sure Coach Shimoza and some of the guys will come up with something. It'll be fun to see. But regardless, whatever they're wearing, they're playing at Safeco Field.
Yeah, stay tuned. We'll hopefully have more to say about that next week. So, and now we have softball to talk about.
Softball, 2 of our teams, not one, but 2 of our teams won district championships. All possible because of Mountlake Terrace dropping down to 2A when it comes to postseason play. Meadowdale won the 3A district championship over Snohomish, a very tough Snohomish team. We'll talk more about that game and that team later. But first, we're going to start off by talking about Mountlake Terrace, the 2A district champions, 18-4 record overall this year. And it wasn't easy either. Their semifinal game, they had to get a walk-off single in the 7th inning to beat Anacortes. Final score was 4-3. And then they turn around or 3-2 rather, and then they turn around and play Seaholm for the district championship game. Seaholm was 22-0 going into the game. Looked like they were almost unbeatable, and they were beating their teams, I think, or their opponents by an average margin of like 10 runs to 2 runs. And Mountlake Terrace pulling off the 8-inning victory, 4-3 in that game. District champs, they're heading to state this week, and we brought 2 of their players in to talk about it. The only 2 seniors on the team. Here's our conversation we had with Doan and Gabby Calhoun. The Mountlake Terrace Hawks softball team heading to the state tournament. Not only that, but they won the district championship this past week. And with us right now, the only 2 seniors on that team, Doan, who is primarily the pitcher, and Gabby Calhoun, who plays second base. Again, the only 2 seniors on the entire squad. And ladies, this is a softball team that hasn't made it to state since you were in the 8th grade.
Yes,
Gabby, what does this mean?
it's amazing. Like I've always wanted to go to state every single year, but I'm so glad senior year we're going this year. So.
You finally made it. And Kira, this is a team that came very close last year. I know you had a really tough loss against Glacier Peak in the consolation bracket of districts, 8-7 loss that could have put you over the top and put you into the state. Does it mean that much more knowing that you haven't been there before and that you've come close in the past?
Yeah, for sure. Last year we were just so close, and then managed to lose it in the last second. But it's really awesome to finally be making it to state, especially since it's our first time as seniors to be going with this team.
So your one and only chance, and you got it done. And it wasn't an easy road either. We should mention you finished the regular season with a record of 15-4. You go into the 2A district tournament, new territory for you because you play in a 3A league during the regular season. You get a shutout victory over Bellingham. Nice job, pitcher Doan. And then your semifinal game, the game that really clinched the state berth, Anacortes game, 3-2 was the final score. It was 2-2 in the 7th inning, and then I'm going to put up a picture right here. Gabby, you drove in the winning run in the bottom of the 7th, a walk-off. Walk me through the play.
So Jamie was on second, Kennedy Cooper was on third, and there was no out, so I was confident, like, if I get out, like, it's okay. Like, we have Kira, Jazz, and then Sammy. And then it was 0-2. I had 2 balls, 0 strikes, and I just saw a good pitch, and I just hit it and ran to first, and Kennedy scored, and I was, like, so happy. It was,
So you hit it for the walk-off, and not the only
Yes.
time you had a big play in the game. We should point out the next picture, 2 of you coming in to score at the same time, both of you there. Kira, tell me a little bit about this play.
Yeah, so I'm not sure where we were on the bases, but Jazz hit a double and we both scored. So that was, I believe, our first 2 runs.
Jazz Inc. And then we've got another picture from that game, Kira. Again, you picking up the 4-3 victory, and here's a picture of you in action, pitching, of course. Tell me a little bit about what it was like to face a team like Anacortes, a team you'd never seen before.
There were some pretty good hitters on that team that I wasn't expecting to be at that level. But I think I still had 12 strikeouts that game. So
It's nice when you lose track. You have so many that you can't even keep tabs anymore.
12 strikeouts. But I just tried to stay focused and hit my spots and pitch it like any other game.
So that game put you into the championship, which automatically clinched you for the state berth. So at that point, you know you're going to the tournament. You still have to win one more game to be the district champs. You're going up against a team in Seaholm who, before they took on the Mountlake Terrace Hawks, had won 22 games and hadn't lost any. They were 22-0, and lo and behold, you were able to knock them off in extra innings at that 4-3. Gabby, tell me a little bit about this game because, again, a team that you've never seen before, a team that when you look at their stats in the paper, certainly they were winning and winning fairly large margins too. What was it like going against Seaholm?
they were really good at hitting, and I was like, oh my God, this is going to be a good game. We need to step it up with our hitting. And it was tied at the 7th inning, or right? 7th inning,
Yeah.
something. And then the freshman came up. It was the bottom of the order, and who got on? It was Jamie got on, and then Kiera Scott hit one and scored her.
So Jamie Bingham and Kira Scott, who are both, by the way, freshmen.
Freshmen,
So
yeah.
young players coming through
Yeah.
big in the clutch.
So that was nice.
And then you get the go-ahead run, and then all of a sudden the pitcher here gets out of a jam in the 8th inning. You're up by 1 run. You load the bases with nobody out, and it was the lower half of or lower third of the batting order.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit scary for you at that point. How were you feeling?
Yeah, I got pretty nervous, but whenever I pitch, I always try to stay as calm as possible because I know if I let my emotions get to me, my pitching game is going to be totally off. But yeah, top of the lineup comes up, and they had been hitting great the whole game, so I just went one pitch at a time and really focused on just hitting my spots.
So a ground out and a couple of pop-ups, is that the way the game ends?
Yep.
So 4-3 victory, and we've got a few pictures from that game too. One we're going to put up right here. Gabby, you sliding into third base apparently on a bunt, is that correct?
By Kiera, yes.
By Kira, okay, so Kira got to even lay down the bunt there and move you over. So one big play there. And then we've got a couple other pictures that I think are going to probably stick with you for the rest of your lives. The first one here, Gabby, you holding up that always elusive district championship trophy. What is that feeling like right there?
It was best feeling ever.
It's hard not to smile when you look at that picture, right?
Yeah. So happy. I'm so excited.
And then the next picture, not just you, but the entire team celebrating here. Kira, again, a long time in the waiting for this, and I think to have this picture of you and your teammates together, I have a feeling this is going to be something you all cherish for the rest of your lives, right?
Mm-hmm, for sure. It was definitely a team effort game.
Now, let's look ahead to the state tournament coming up. You're going to be heading to Sela this week, and we just found out a couple hours ago the matchups. So at 10 a.m. on Friday, you play Squim. A lot of S's, by the way, in these cities. You played up in Cedar-Woolley against Seaholm, and who else was it? It was, I guess it was just Seaholm, and then you got Squim, and now you're in Sela. So hard to keep track of all these. But what do we know about Squim so far, Kira? Have you had a chance to look at their
We know nothing.
squad at all yet? Okay.
I think the only thing I know is that they were 5th in their district tournament, so they're a lower seed, but we'll see what happens.
And now, again, Sela, not exactly right down the street, right outside of Yakima. Gabby, do we have a travel itinerary yet? Do we know when the team going over Thursday night, I would assume?
Thursday, I think we're going to practice after school and then head down after practice. So.
And then get going right there. Do you enjoy 10 a.m. starts, Kira? Does it matter? I mean,
Actually, yeah. For tournaments with select ball, we're used to like 8 a.m. starts. We have to be at the fields
Like
at like
at 6
at
a.m.
7. So 10 is nice for us.
Yeah.
So you're used to that then.
Yeah.
And I should also ask too, Kira, you've been pitching the majority of the innings lately, and unlike baseball where you've got that torque motion on the arms and you have to rest players constantly, we often see at these state tournaments softball pitchers going the distance and pitching all 4 games. Again, you have to win a couple to get to games 3 and 4, but potentially you could be playing in 4 games in 2 days. Are you the type of pitcher that's capable of doing that, or at some point are you going to need to get a little relief in there and rest that arm a bit?
Yeah, I'm hoping for some rest. Kira Scott has proven herself this season, so we're hoping to throw her in for a few games or innings. But I think if it comes down to it, I'll have to see what I can do. Last year I did get an injury from overuse, so cross our fingers.
Seeing how it goes this time around.
Yeah.
And again, we should mention 18-4 was your record overall this season. A 2A school playing primarily against 3A schools, so a very successful run. The two of you have been a vital part of everything that's been happening with this Mountlake Terrace team throughout the years. You've never had a losing season since you've been there. Let me ask you to talk about each other a little bit here. Gabby, tell me a little bit about Kira, the pitcher and the hitter, because certainly you're both hitting in the 400 range right now. What does Kira mean to this team?
She's a great leader. We need her in the circle this year. So she's been pitching great. Like after we won this district championship, I was like rubbing her arm like, this is gold.
Keeping it safe,
Gold.
right?
Yeah.
Put that thing in saran wrap and take good
Yeah.
care of it. And Kira, what does Gabby mean to this squad?
Gabby's great at second base and up to bat. I don't know when the last time I saw her go up to bat and get out. I feel like she's always on base and getting nice hits. So it's great for our team to start off with a big hit from Gabby. And at second base, a strong mitt. There's some tough plays that she'll manage to get out there.
And I always have mentioned in the past, especially going into the season, it seemed like the core foundation of this team was you two and then also 2 of the juniors. Sammy Ruiz, who, oh, by the way, in the district championship game had 3 RBI, and I think she went 3 for 4. And then Jazz Zank, who, by the way, happy birthday, Jazz, who picked up a district championship on her birthday, correct?
Yes.
So what have those 2 meant to this team also, both playing in the infield with you guys?
No. Well, infield, they're both like solid infielders.
And getting it done with the bat too, right? I
Yeah,
mean, it's
they're
nice to
both
have all
power
4 of you at the
hitters.
top of the
Yeah,
lineup and
yeah.
hitting for power and for average.
Yes.
And then Kira, you guys have taken the 4 of you as well as a few others. I know Amaya Kopp has stepped up her game a little bit this
Yeah.
year, Sarah Davis and a few others, but quite a few freshmen playing key roles on this team this year.
Yeah, for sure. We have Jenna Maxfield, Jamie Bingaman, and Kira Scott are our full-time varsity, and then we also have like Delaney Flynn, Sarah Atchison.
Carice Jones.
Yeah, Carice Jones. They're all stepping up. They're definitely all high-caliber players, and Jenna and Jamie and Kira have definitely produced this year, both on the field and up to bat.
So it sounds like a pretty tight-knit group, and
Yeah.
it sounds like those Cedro Woolley bus rides during districts were a lot of fun too. Let's start with the semifinal game. After you defeated Anacortes, you celebrated by going where on the way home?
5 guys.
5 guys, and then you turned around for the district championship, which was again an 8-inning game, kind of a late night. You're all tired, and where do you stop? Not only for the district championship, but also for Jazz's birthday.
Yeah, we stopped at Taco Bell and just got a bunch of,
A lot of tacos.
12 boxes and split them up.
Figured at that point you were ready to eat just about anything. You
Yeah.
weren't worried about any calories or anything. You earned it, right? You were
Yeah,
district champs at that
exactly.
point. So again, coming up this week, Friday and Saturday are the 2 dates, state championships, and you've won district. You finished in a tie with Meadowdale in the regular season, which was a pretty big deal. Defending state champs, by the way. Win or lose, is this going to be considered a successful season for you, Kara?
Yeah, definitely. It's probably one of the best seasons and best teams I've been on as far as Mountlake Terrace goes, and definitely the most successful season for us. And so I think just making it to state makes it a great season.
Sure. And now you're both again seniors, so what is next? I know we've talked to you a little bit about it in the past, Kira, but I'll start with Gabby. Is softball in your future, and if not, where are you heading off to?
No, I'm hanging up the cleats, but I'm going to Shoreline Community College.
To study?
Dental hygienist.
Very cool, very nice. And Kira, for you, and I'm not going to let you go without talking about something else that happened a couple weeks ago. I know it's or I guess it was last week at this point. So it's been a big week for you.
Yeah.
I had a chance to watch you do a little public speaking at the Edmonds School District Foundation breakfast. You and one of your classmates gave a little speech on STEM. Tell me a little bit about who the classmate was and what you were speaking on behalf of.
Yeah, so me and Kylie Otani went up to the Lynnwood Convention Center to give a speech on STEM and talk about how it's changed our careers and all that and how great it is. But yeah, for the STEM English 12 class, we have a capstone project, and she was my partner for the project, and we just volunteered for the spot. We didn't really know what we were getting into when we volunteered to give this speech, but we definitely enjoyed it, and we think.
And that was on a Friday morning, and you were speaking in front of, I think, 500 plus adults for the most part.
Yeah.
What is more nerve-wracking, speaking in front of a large group like that, or potentially pitching in a state championship game?
I don't know. Definitely probably speaking to adults. I'm not used to that.
But she is used to pitching, and she
Yeah.
pitches very well. So again, district champs heading to state this week, 18-4 record overall. Two seniors who have had a very successful year, and we're hoping to talk about a successful weekend next week. Gabby, Calhoun, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Doan, thank you. And best of luck to the Hawks softball team.
Such energy and enthusiasm, and I can hardly wait to see what the Hawks do.
Yeah, and this is a team that's been building up to this for the last couple of years. We more or less saw this one coming with both Kira and Gabby being seniors. We knew that this was going to be a big year with the other girls as juniors, and with the influx of freshmen that came into the program this year, it's been a lot of fun to watch them. And don't be surprised if they're playing Saturday afternoon for that championship. They're that good.
Yeah, and they're probably going to keep winning in future years with all those freshmen.
It would be nice. Yeah, they've definitely got a young team. The old two girls that were at this table, the only two that aren't coming back next year. So a lot of talent returning. But first and foremost, Friday and Saturday over in Sela.
Incredible. Well, okay, and we have more softball to talk about.
We do. The Meadowdale Mavericks, the defending state champions from last year, co-Wesco 3A South champs with Mountlake Terrace this year. They had their own district tournament this past week, and much like Mountlake Terrace, it wasn't easy. The semifinal game against Marysville-Pilchuck, they fell behind early, had a big one inning, I think it was 6 runs in the 5th inning to overcome a deficit early and won the game 9-5. And then they went up against Snohomish in the championship game. They played Snohomish one time earlier this year, and the final score was Snohomish 16, Meadowdale 1. Kind of thinking that game might go somewhat similar lines, knowing that Snohomish had only lost one game all year. But lo and behold, the Mavericks come through. They get the 2-1 victory. Not only are they Wesco champs, they are district champs, going back to the state tournament for the 6th consecutive year. So we brought 2 of their players into studio tonight to talk to them about not only the district tournament, but also the upcoming state tournament. From one district softball champion team to another, this time it's the 3A district champions, the Meadowdale Mavericks, who are not only district champs, but they're heading to state for the 6th consecutive year. And with us right now, 2 of the seniors on that team, Savannah Spratt, who is a center fielder, and Emma Helm, who is the catcher. Ladies, big victory for you the other day, big tournament, but we're going to start by talking about the semifinal game. You go up against Marysville-Pilchuck, and you fall behind early. It was 5-2, I think, in the first couple innings. Savannah, I'll ask you, when you fall behind a team like that, this is a Meadowdale team that's had a lot of success. I've got to think that you're a pretty confident bunch. Do you worry at that point, or are you just thinking, okay, just play our game and we'll get there?
I think there's always nerves that come along with falling behind, but I think overall for us, that was a really good game in knowing that we're strong enough to come back and that the game's never over in any situation. And I think it was really good for us to be able to come back and keep pushing through all of that, through all the nerves and everything, and get that win.
And it helps when you can hit some home runs occasionally. And you had a big one in that game. I think it was it 3-run home run? To break open the game when it was tied up still. Yeah. Walk me through that pitch right over the center field fence.
It was, she had been throwing me this pitch that I liked all game, and I hadn't swung at it, and so I went up to bat knowing that I was going to swing at it, and I did, and it just went over.
Goes over the fence, and you end up winning the game 9-5. You move on to the championship game against Snohomish, and this is a Snohomish team that I think quite a few folks are thinking might be the favorite to win state, perhaps. Only one loss on the season coming into that game. And oh, by the way, ladies, I hate to be the one to remind you of this, but back on April 25th, your only other matchup against Snohomish, you lost 16-1. So going into the championship game, I don't think any of us were sure what to expect, and you come away with a 2-1 victory. And Emma, as the catcher, I'm going to ask you first and foremost. Lauren Dent, she went out there and pitched a gem. Tell me about her performance.
Yeah, she did. I think it was like the second inning. She came into the dugout and she said, "Oh, this is exhausting mentally and physically." And I was like, "I know, we just got to keep going." So I was so proud of her for sticking through all that game. It was a lot of work for both of us, like pitch calling and her hitting her spots and everything. So it was so tiring, but I'm glad.
Was it one of those games where you could tell early that she had her stuff that day?
Oh, for sure. And we had an umpire that was working with us that we could work with, so that helped us a lot too. So.
And so a game was scoreless early on. Savannah, you get on base. You're on first, and then Emma, you drive her in with a triple. And this is a pitcher, I might add, Bailey Greenlee, who is up for a Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of Washington. She's had a phenomenal year. Tell me about the pitch that you got from her and the hit.
I don't know. I was going up there just thinking get my bat on anything I could. I didn't do well against her in the first game, so I just knew I just needed to get my bat on the ball, and we had runners on, or a runner on, so I just needed to help my team out, and it worked.
And Savannah, when you're on first base, and I know you've got some wheels, you're the leadoff hitter on this team, you're on first base and she hits a ball into the outfield. Are you thinking right away, hey, I'm going all the way around the bases on this one?
Yeah, I actually thought it was going to go over, and so, I mean, I was sprinting from the get-go, just trying to get home, but I got to third, and I was kind of looking at my coach like, did it go over, did it go over, and I was like, I guess I'm just going to keep running, and so it was good. It was really close to going over, but it was good that we scored a run in that early to get ahead.
So it gave you the 1-0 lead. Snohomish comes back, and they tie it up. We go to the 7th and final inning. It's 1-1. It looks like it might go into extra innings. 2 outs. Savannah, you come up to the plate, and you hit a home run off Bailey Greenlee. Tell me about your home run.
Well, I was feeling the pressure a little bit, 2 outs right before me, and I had 2 strikes too, which was not the situation I necessarily wanted to be in, but I knew that I'd hit her before. I mean, I hit her in the first game we played, and I'd just gotten a hit off of her before that, so I knew that I was like confident that I could get a hit, and I was like, no matter where it is, just swing at it, and it went over.
And we've got a picture we're going to put up here too. There's you getting ready to come to the plate there. See number 12 there celebrating with you. Emma's ready to go and give you some high fives. But were you swinging for the fences, or were you just?
I wasn't. I was really swinging just to make contact and try to keep it rolling. I knew that any sort of thing might get a rally started for us deep in the 7th inning. We needed something, and that was very useful.
And you're, again, we mentioned it earlier, you're a leadoff hitter, and generally speaking, those are hitters that you just want to get on base and to kind of set the table for the other players on your team. We saw you hit the home run against Snohomish the other night in that game against Mountlake Terrace to end the season, which gave you an opportunity to finish in a tie for first place during the regular season. You hit an insurance home run against them in the 7th inning. Like I said, leadoff hitters don't normally put it over the fence. So what is it about your style that leads to home runs?
I don't know. I'm definitely not swinging for the fences, but I think this year I've been on the ball a lot, and just anytime that you're swinging and trying to make contact, things like that will happen. So.
And it did the other day. And then we should mention too, you had to still get 3 outs in the 7th inning. We've got another picture we're going to put up right there. Lauren Dent, the pitcher, celebrating with her catcher, Emma Helm, who's sitting right here. And Emma, what is that feeling like right there when you know that the final out has been made and you can start celebrating?
It was unbelievable. I definitely I wasn't super confident going into that game, I guess. I don't think anyone really was expecting to happen what happened. So just to finish out that game so strong and just we did it and we were so proud. So that was just such a good feeling.
And a good feeling indeed. We're going to put up another picture here. There is the team celebrating with that trophy. Savannah, it's got to be a picture that you're going to cherish and hold on to for the rest of your life, I've got to think.
Yeah, definitely. Up there with Lauren, who pitched, an amazing game for us for sure. I mean, keeping a team like that only to 1 run after them scoring 16 in the first time we played them was incredible by her, and then hitting that home run to get the win was nice.
And then apparently you all had a little bit of energy left over, because we've got another picture we're going to put up. There's a celebratory jump at the end there, and Savannah, it looks like, I guess it's you and Lauren holding the trophy. Don't want to drop that thing at that point, right?
No.
And Emma, I've got to ask you too. I mean, last year, you guys pretty much just rolled through the districts. I mean, nobody really even competed with you at any of the district games. This year, we just talked about the Marysville-Pilchuck game and having to come from behind. Big battle with Snohomish that was going to go right down to the wire. Is it a little more gratifying when you know that that trophy didn't come quite as easy this year, and that last year everything just seemed to kind of, you almost felt like when you walked onto the field you were going to win the game, but
Yeah, it was, because this whole season has kind of been like that. We've kind of been like the underdog, I guess. Just been how we've been playing and not being the same team. So to like be able to show people that we can do it in that pressure situation was awesome.
And you lost 4 key seniors to that last year's team, and then also you had a player, Lauren Wallace, who moved out of the area. You had to bring a lot of new players up, and some of which are freshmen this year. I think you have up to, 3 players in your lineup at one time that are freshmen. What's that been like? You played as a freshman. You were a key player on that team 3 years ago that went to state. Have you been able to kind of share those experiences with them, and has that been able to help them out along the way?
Definitely. We talk about it a lot. And I try to tell them what to expect and try to help them through. And they've been doing such a good job and meshing with the team really well and doing their jobs. So I think just us seniors bringing them in and showing them the ropes has really helped them, and they've been a key part of our team this year.
Sure. So now you're going down to Lacey this week to play in the state tournament, trying to make it back to back. Savannah, you know when you've got the previous trophy, you're kind of the marked team, right? Everybody's going to be gunning for you. Does that make it more exciting for you?
I think it does for sure. I think it'll be an exciting feeling walking down there, walking into Lacey and knowing that where we were last year and just trying to get back there. I mean, we know that us seniors, I guess, we know the feeling now of how good it feels to win that. And so there's definitely just a lot of want from us to finish our season that way again this year.
And I'll maybe ask the question to both of you. A little less pressure knowing that you've already won a state championship. Does it make it a little bit easier, or is it all same nerves all over again?
I don't think so.
No.
Not necessarily, huh?
No.
I think it almost makes it harder
Yeah.
because
The pressure to repeat and the
Yeah.
expectations that go along with it.
and how hard it is to repeat.
For sure. Now you draw the noon game to start off on Friday. So you're playing Garfield. First of all, I guess I should ask, Lacey, about 70 miles away. Do you go down the night before, or are you grabbing hotels? What's the itinerary look like for this team?
We go down Thursday and we'll get there around like 1, and we just kind of do a practice the night before and get acclimated and do some like bonding and just sleep in our hotel beds the night before so we can be ready.
Enjoy it a little bit. And then you're playing Garfield at noon. Do we know much about the Bulldogs at this point?
We've seen their record a little bit, but it's hard to tell. We don't really know who they've played or what their competition is like. So I think every team down there, once you get there, I mean, they all deserve to be there. So it'll be a tough-fought game every time.
Sure. And Emma, you mentioned earlier also off air, you're going to the University of Washington next year, so you're going to be a UW softball player. There's a UW connection with the Garfield team as well, right?
Yeah, Whitney Jones is their coach this year, and this is their first time back at state, so I'm sure she's been a big part of it, and they're probably going to be tough competition.
We will see. And if you do win that game, you would play the winner of Bonnie Lake versus Bainbridge, and that game would be at 4 o'clock if you're able to make it that far into the quarterfinals. Should mention, too, that's a Bainbridge team that you've defeated each of the last 2 years at state, so I have a feeling they may not have forgotten those games either, and maybe they'll be gunning for you a little bit. Future plans. I know we just talked about it a little bit with you, Emma. University of Washington, you're still one of their scholarship players next year. I know you got to get through the state tournament first, but how excited are you for the UW next year?
I'm really excited. It's coming up very quickly, and I know that once we're done with softball, it's going to come even quicker. So I'm just excited and nervous, but ready to get going.
Sure. And Savannah, for you, where are you heading off to next year?
I'm going to WSU next year, just taking a break from softball. Might do some intramurals. We'll see.
Have a little fun. And
Yeah.
WSU does not have a softball team, so I guess you don't have to worry about rooting against Emma when it's the Apple Cup softball games. You can still be a UW fan from afar. Does that
Yeah,
sound
I'll
good?
always root for them.
Very nice. And again, big time tournament coming up here. How much fun is this right now? I mean, 6 straight years for Meadowdale. Is that something you guys take a lot of pride in, knowing that there are players that have come before you that have kind of made this journey possible? And what is it like keeping the legacy going?
Oh, it's fun and it's pressure, but we just got to keep it rolling, and we know what's expected of us, and we don't want to be the first team to not go to state, and so we're just excited.
So here we go. State champs last year, 3rd place the year before. I think this is a team that finished 3rd back in 2013. So a lot of expectations for Meadowdale, but this team seems to be capable of coming through. Again, Emma Helm, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Savannah, Spratt, thank you. Best of luck to the Mavericks as they head on down to Lacey on Friday.
Well, good for Meadowdale. It'll be fun to see what the Mavs can do.
Yeah, and again, this is the team that's the defending state champ, trying to repeat. I didn't think they were going to win that district championship game. That's a very good Snohomish team. So the fact that they were able to get over the biggest obstacle heading into state, and this is where Meadowdale tends to play its best softball, so stay tuned.
Yeah, that's right. And we have another team that's going to state in softball.
We sure do. The Edmonds-Woodway Warriors, and we've got a picture of them. They finished 4th at the district tournament, and fortunately, they take 4 teams, so they were able to advance. The big game for them was in the consolation bracket. The game that got them into the 3rd, 4th place game was against Marysville-Pilchuck. Our friend Kendra Cooper hit a walk-off home run in the 7th inning, which propelled them into the game and also put them into the state tournament. So a good job for the Warriors, and another formidable opponent that's played all of the teams up here very tough this year. So once you get into that single elimination tournament, everybody's record's the same. It's all 0-0. So perhaps the Warriors could be playing into Saturday as well.
You never know. And there's more, isn't there?
There's a lot more still, and including track.
Yeah.
Track and field, the district championships were this past weekend, and that's where runners tried to advance and to qualify for the state meet, which is coming up next week for state championships. One of which was Emily Smatlak, who is the javelin thrower for Lynnwood. She went out and won the district championship this year, and in doing so, she's now heading down to the state tournament. And we had Emily in studio earlier to talk to her about not only the season so far, but the state meet coming up down in Tacoma. State championships in track are coming up this weekend, and with us right now, a Lynnwood Royal javelin thrower who's on her way to state for the 2nd consecutive year. Yes. Emily Smatlak, a senior this year. And we should mention, not only are you on your way to state, but you've won the Edmonds School District championships 2 weeks ago. You won the Wesco 3A South championship the following week. And then this past weekend, you were the district champion. Congratulations on winning all 3.
Thank you.
You've qualified for state last year, but you didn't win those particular titles. What's it like for you to have the #1 spot on the podium this year?
It's a really cool opportunity. You wouldn't get this every year. I like having that Michaela showed kind of, how to lead, how to throw, kind of the mentality into going into it, and that I think really helped me kind of stay calm in the situation. But it's a really cool experience. I didn't think that I would necessarily have that, but.
And now you're on your way to state. We noticed your throw the other day was 120.7. I believe your top throw this year is 125.4. Now, as of right now, that's number 7 in the state when we look on athletic.net, which shows the rankings there. You finished 14th in state last year. Do you have a particular goal in mind as to where you want to finish? I know top 8 are on the podium. Is it more about distance, or is it trying to hop on the podium this year?
I kind of have 2 goals. My ultimate goal at the beginning of the season was top 3 at state. But I would love to break 133 or 34 at state. That would be my ultimate goal.
That would put you right up there, too.
Yeah.
And you mentioned Michaela a minute ago. That's Michaela Pivick, who won the state championship last year. So you're trying to keep it in the Lynnwood family here. What was it like to have Michaela throwing with you last year? Easier for you in the sense that maybe a lot of the focus and the attention is on her? Or is it kind of frustrating knowing that you're never going to be on the very top because your teammate is the state champion? What was it like having you and Michaela on the same team?
Well, I think last year was really good to have that example of such a mature, nice leader. She helped me develop a routine, be calm in the pressure situations. She's just really nice overall. So I think that leadership really helped me coming into this year, kind of getting her mentality kind of for the game. And it's really comes down to loving throwing. It's not about being nervous and like, can I do this? Can I not do this? But it's what we love to do,
And I understand Michaela left you with something this year too, correct?
Yes, I got her old star marker from last year that she used, and she even signed it for me. So I've used it at every single meet this year, and
hoping it takes you to a championship.
yeah.
Well, and let's talk a little bit about some of your teammates. This was a girls' team that won the state championship last year, and you were on that team, which had to be very exciting for you. And I know you still have Rita and Malia running some of the events, so maybe not quite as many points this year without Michaela and a few others, but certainly a lot of folks who can contend down there. But it's the throwers this year that we're kind of keeping an eye on. not only yourself, but on the guys' side of things, we have Connor Bjornsson throwing the javelin.
Yes.
We've also got Harris Kuddick and Jacob Laban. Tell me a little bit about those three and how they're looking right now.
Well, yeah, I'm really excited for them. Our boys program, at least the last couple years, hasn't been quite as strong as our girls program, but I'd say this year it's more deep than. So yeah, Connor's really stepped up this year. He's really gotten into a different running style, which has really helped him. He does a C 5-step run up, which some Olympians do, some don't, but that's really gotten his arm into the right placement. So yeah, he PR'd 10 feet at the last meet. So that was.
Kidding. And he's
yeah.
only a sophomore, so he's
Yeah.
having a very nice year.
Yes, very. And then, Jacob Laban last year, I think he got 4th in district, so he was just, right out of state. But, he's been a lot solid this year and, practicing and getting the shot down. And Harris obviously is, better even than last year. He's just really consistent.
So it'll be fun to see how everybody does down there for the Lynnwood Royals. Speaking of going down there, Tacoma this coming weekend. What is the plan right now? Are you traveling down on Wednesday or Thursday, or when are you heading down?
So yeah, our team I think is going to travel again on Thursday morning, pretty close to the start of school, and then we'll take the day. I'm pretty sure a couple Lynnwood athletes compete on the first day for prelims, and then and that's when Connor will compete for javelin, and then the next day, Friday, is when I'll compete. So yeah, we'll stay at a hotel overnight there for a couple days.
You talked a little bit about Connor's form a minute ago. Tell me a little bit about your own, because this is a sport that I'm always intrigued by. You don't always see the biggest and bulkiest athletes performing in the javelin. Certainly, maybe you do more for the shot put and the discus, but how much of it is form and how much of it is strength, and what do you do to work on your form?
So yeah, I'd say even in this throwing event, it's a lot different than other throwing events. I'd say mostly form. Not all form, but you need good form to get the distance. Probably for me, I can pretty much arm it to 120, but getting past there is not a reality if I don't have the form. But yeah, it's just so many little details with javelin that you have to connect. But yeah, so.
And for you, it's not just a Monday through Friday sport during the season too. It sounds like you're working on your form and your craft, if you will, on Sundays as well. Is that correct?
Yes, I've worked, I think, about 3 times this year with Rich, and he's really helped me with my cross steps at the beginning, getting that rhythm down, holding it back in the right position, getting at eye level, and then opening up when I'm throwing, so I get the full motion to.
And we should point out, who is Rich?
He's a good friend of our track coaches. He's a really good throwing coach. He threw in high school and shot in javelin. I'm not exactly sure, but
So this is somebody you're going to outside of Lynnwood High School to get
yes,
that
yeah.
extra practice in then with.
Yes, and Harris does for discus too.
Okay, so keeping you all very busy then.
Yes.
Again, big weekend coming up, and we should also point out that you are a senior. Is this something you want to continue to do after high school?
Yes, I'm planning on throwing javelin in college at AU, Anderson University, which I'm excited for.
And we should tell people it's not a school that's around here. Where exactly is Anderson?
Anderson is in Indiana, so it's a pretty good traveling distance there, but I'm excited for, the change of scenery. They have really good intramurals over there, and it's just nice summers and good weather.
Not a bad place to go to school. And
Yes.
And the other thing
yeah.
that was interesting to me about you is your PR this year came at the Lake Washington Girls Invitational, which was a large invitational that had throwers from across the state coming in, some of the top throwers. And again, to get your PR at an event like that, I ask because the state tournament obviously is going to be very similar in that the top athletes all there in one spot. Do you kind of relish that competition? Is that something that brings out the best in you?
Yeah, this year especially, it's really helped push me because I'm like, oh, okay, they're 4 more feet above me. I can, get that. I know I can get that torque in there and push it farther. So I really like, watching other excellent athletes compete, and it helps push me, yeah.
And I'm not going to let you go without talking about this either, because you and I were just having a conversation off air. You're a lefty, and we don't see those very often in the javelin. Tell me a little bit about that. What is it about lefties in the javelin that they tend to shy away from it, and why are you doing so well?
I'm guessing it has something to do with, the population's like only 10% lefty, but, it's fun to see left-handed javelin throwers, and, every time I see one, regardless of what team they're on, I'm like, go lefties.
So lefties supporting one another.
Yeah.
Lefties supporting one another. Lynnwood supporting one another coming up this week. So again, the state tournament down in Tacoma Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Yes.
Emily, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you so much.
Best of luck at state, and then best of luck to you at Anderson next year.
Thank you.
I learned something new today. They always talk about how left-handed athletes are good for certain sports, but I'd never thought about it for the javelin.
And it sounds like they're not necessarily good in the javelin. She's one of the few. As Emily mentioned, she doesn't find or come across too many other left-handed javelin throwers. Yeah, very interesting to note. So we'll see how this particular lefty does down in Tacoma.
Right. And so now, as we were talking about earlier, we're moving from the field to the track.
Yeah, kind of in reverse order of how it's normally up on the marquee, so to speak. But we had two Edmonds-Woodway runners come in here earlier. One who is definitely not a stranger to the state meet. That's Matthew Park, who is a senior. Matthew's going to Boise State next year on a scholarship, so we know he can run a little bit. He qualified for the 1600 and the 3200. Not only did he qualify, he was the district champion in both events. And then one of his younger teammates, Lucas Lacambra, who's only a sophomore, also qualified in the 1600. So we had a conversation with Matthew and Lucas. In sticking with our track and field theme, we've got two more athletes that are heading off to state this week. From Edmonds-Woodway, Lucas Lacambra, who will be competing in the 1600, and Matthew Park, who will be doing both the 1600 and 3200 meter. Guys, congratulations on making it. Interesting races last week at the districts. Matthew, you won both the 1600 and the 3200. We need to talk about that 1600 race first. It sounds like it came right down to the wire between you and Aaron Liebens from Snohomish. Take me through the final part of that race.
Yeah, so 200 to go. He tried passing me on the outside and then tried cutting in, and I kind of pushed him out a little bit, and then so he was kind of behind me, and then 100 meters to go. I kind of thought I had him in the bag, but I looked over with 50 to go, and he was right there. So I had to pick it back up, and then he dived at the finish line, and I got him by 1/100th of a second.
So you barely come away with a victory.
Yeah.
Top four go to state. Lucas, you ended up finishing third behind the two of them. How far back were you?
2 seconds or so. It was kind of sit and kick until the last 200 meter. So we just gave it all we got.
So you're running down the track there, and all of a sudden, this guy that's right in front of you by a couple seconds takes a dive towards the finish line.
Yeah, I saw it.
Did any concern on your part of tripping over him or anything like that, or were you able to?
No, he was far ahead, but I was kind of surprised that he dove.
Surprised indeed. So you took third, and then Sam McLuhan, who we've also had in studio here, took fourth. So all three of you qualifying in the 1600. And I should ask you that too. When you've got three strong runners from one school like that, are there any strategies that go into a race like that? Are you? I know it's 4 laps, but are you kind of pacing each other? Do you talk beforehand, Matthew? What's the word like when you guys are having pre-talks?
We usually all try to stick together. It's one of us will take it out. Usually me or Sam will take it out, and then we just try to stick on each other. And then just the last 400 meters, we just start sprinting. And it's nice just having 3 people from the same school, knowing they'll always be right there together.
Sure. And you and Sam, both seniors. Lucas, you're a sophomore, so this is kind of new territory for you. I've got to think it was pretty thrilling for you once you crossed that finish line and realized that you just qualified for the state track and field meet.
Yeah, I was really hoping, and I did everything that I needed to for the race. So.
What is the initial feel when you cross that line? I mean, just kind of relief, euphoric. What are you experiencing?
Yeah,
at that
relief mostly.
Yeah.
I was kind of feeling it at the 200.
And
When I knew I had it in the bag, kind of.
Now, what about you,
through.
older teammate here? Any? You knew it all along, right? You knew this guy was good. I
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's.
No surprises there.
He's a lot faster than me or Sam were as sophomores, and it's just exciting to see someone so young be as close as he is to me and Sam. So.
And these two have done pretty well for themselves, so that's quite the compliment there.
Yeah.
So then we move ahead. I guess it was 2 days later that the 32 was run. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And once again, Aaron Liebens from Snohomish, right there at the finish line. And I guess after the first incident that took place in the 1600, you mentioned the officials had had a little talk with him about how he was to run that race.
Yeah, they just told him if he cuts me off like that again, he can't do that. They didn't qualify or DQ him the first time, but they said if he does that again, that won't fly.
So it didn't happen again then, right? Or did it?
It happened again. 100 meters to go. He tried passing and then cut in on me, and then I kind of like stumbled a little bit and almost fell, and yeah, they DQ'd him this time.
So he did come across the finish line second, but that did not count. So
He came across the finish line first.
Oh, he
Because
did?
Yeah, because I like slowed way down because I could like, he just kind of tripped me, and then yeah, so then they.
So what is that like then? Because when you cross a finish line, when you're victorious, you immediately like to kind of celebrate, or whether it's outwardly or even internally. You don't know initially that you've won the race then, right? How long was it after the race that he was actually disqualified?
It took a long time. Like they did the girls, like the awards for the girls 3200, like pretty like soon after their race, but it took like over an hour, I'm pretty sure, for them to like sort everything out with all that, and then I didn't even like know for sure until they called everyone up to like do the awards, and then they're like, yeah, he got DQ'd.
You were expecting a second place medal and you get a first place.
Yeah, it was a nice surprise.
And Lucas, for you, I guess a little bit tougher day. I know you were feeling under the weather, so you didn't quite do as well at the 3200.
Yeah.
Kind of relief to know that, hey, even though I'm not going to qualify in this race, I already have the one in the bag. I
Yeah.
kind of think that makes it a little bit easier, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I was pushing, but it just didn't come through.
Yeah. Well,
So,
distant
that's
races
okay.
aren't easy when you're not feeling good. I mean, I've got to think other than sprints where you can maybe kind of push through it a little bit. When you've got to kind of go, long strides and long distances, it's not that easy, is it?
No.
So you make it in one event, you make it in two. You're heading down there this week, and Matthew, for you, again, you've already been at state before. Last year, you finished 7th in the 3200. You finished 11th in the 1600. What are the expectations for you this year?
I mean, I'm gonna try to stick as close as I can to whoever takes out the lead. There's one really good junior from a school in Tacoma, and I'm just gonna try to stick on him, and if I'm feeling good at the end, maybe try to pass him. But
Now,
we'll see.
The junior you're talking about, too, I think his personal best right now, or at least his best this season, is about 15 seconds ahead of, I think, you and the other runners that are all kind of grouped together in that 2 through 6 or 2 through 7 range. Is it one of those things where if he runs his best race, are you guys able to maybe push it over the top and catch him, or are you kind of hoping that he comes back to the pack a little?
He's been hurt recently, so I know he hasn't been running his best, so we'll see if he's still hurt or not. But I mean, if he's at his best, I'm not sure if any of us can really catch him, but hopefully he doesn't have a really good race, and then we have a better race and we kind of reel him in.
Sure. And now, Lucas, for you, again, first time down there, this is kind of the get your feet wet moment for you as a sophomore.
Oh,
I know
yeah.
some of your times aren't quite up there with some of the seniors and whatnot. Any expectations for you coming in, or are you just looking to have a good time and to take it all
No,
in?
I'm gonna try hard and see what I do, and it'll be fun.
And there you go. That's what it's all about. I like the
Yeah.
attitude, the positive spirit, and everything else. You guys go down there Thursday, then I take it. What is that like? Are you getting out of school early that morning? Do you go down before school?
Yeah, we go to school for like I forget. I think it was just like a half an hour or something last year, and then they take us out and like we all go down there, and it's not the best situation, I guess, just because it's like an hour and a half to like 2 hour drive getting down there, and like we raced that day, so kind of tightens you up a little bit, but I mean it's still fine.
So which race are you competing in on Thursday?
The 1600 is Thursday.
So that's with Lucas as well. So
Yeah.
you guys you're
And
getting
Sam.
and Sam, that's right,
Yeah.
Sam McLuhan also. So you're getting your one event out of the way early, and then the next 2 days, Friday and Saturday, these guys are still competing. I've got to think the 3200 is probably on Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday.
So now, Lucas, for you, what are you doing after Thursday? Are you just kind of hanging out,
watching them and see how they do.
supporting them? I would think
Yeah.
too, or are you just kind of up in
Oh,
the
yeah.
stands having a hot dog, or what are you doing? How does that work?
Both.
Both
Yeah.
down on the track having a hot dog and just kind of flaunting it. Right?
Oh yeah.
Do you like the 2 days in between? I mean, I've got to think it's easier than having to go back to back. Does it give you more time to kind of rest the legs up? And what are you doing on that off day?
It's really nice having the day in between, because we can just kind of just like really like easy like shakeout run or something, and then we just go to the track the whole day and just watch the meet, and it's fun to watch sometimes when you don't like have the pressure to run that day. So it's good to have like a day in between to rest up also.
Kind of get ready. And I should ask you too, I mean, you've been strong in the 1600 and the 3200 this year. Do you think you have a better chance at one over the other, or how are you feeling about that?
I mean, I'd say I'd have a better chance in the 3200. I haven't ran it as many times this year. Like, districts was only like my second time really running it like hard. Like Wesco and districts, those were the only 2 times I ran it hard. But and I've been improving like a lot each time. So I think if I can get another big improvement, that'll be the best event for me.
Sure. And I'm not going to let us go without talking a little bit about the girls team as well. I know at the district event, the boys finished 3rd place overall as a team. girls actually won their event. Tell me a little bit about their season, and in particular, since you're distance runners, tell me about what we can expect from Yuki Parle, I guess Olivia Meter-Yetter, Stephanie Robluski. A lot of talent there.
Yeah, it's really fun watching them, all of them just tear it up and run crazy fast every single time. And they went, I think, they went 1, 2, 3 in the 3,200.
All
and
under
then,
11 minutes.
yeah, all of
Wow.
them were under 11, which
Wild.
I think only 2 people might have done it at state last year. So all 3 of them are looking really good for coming to state this week.
And all underclassmen, including you. So I've got to thank Lucas for you. First of all, some of you grew up together. So did you see this one coming even when you were all in middle school? Did you know that, hey, we're not too far away from Edmonds-Woodway and we've got some competitive runners here? Is this something that's been kind of building up?
I didn't even know I was gonna run track actually. I was more of a soccer guy, and then I kind of transitioned to running after I did cross country freshman year, and I got into it. And I didn't know Stephanie or Olivia either. But
So you're just
I
kind of
met
getting to
them.
know them, and all of a sudden you're all top tier runners. And I've got to think, as Matthew's already talked about you a little bit, it sounds like your best days of running are ahead of you. And I've got to do you and the girls, do you ever kind of talk about what's coming up in the next couple of years and how it could be special, because you're all on pace to be right up there with some of the top
Oh,
times
yeah.
in the state, right?
Yeah, hopefully it'll be good for us, and we improve.
Yeah, indeed. Well, Matthew, you can speak to that too. I mean, this is a sport where you do get vastly better from year to year, right? It's something
Yeah.
that you kind of build up to.
Yeah, it's like when you're fast as an underclassman, like that's really exciting because especially on the guys' side, I've noticed like they tend to improve like a lot as they get older and just mature like a lot more. So like there's big improvements coming for him as well.
And I want you to, in case Coach Philman's watching right now, no lifting this week too, right?
No, yeah. Last year, 2 days before the 1600, did a lift I hadn't done the whole year. I don't know why, and really really messed with my legs for that race. But I was able to recover for the 3200 last year.
There,
So
and you can kind of impart that wisdom on Lucas here too, the young guy, right? So you're not going to be lifting this week
yeah,
either.
no lifting this week.
So there we go again. You're heading down Thursday, in which the 1600 will be run later on that afternoon down in Tacoma. 3200 on Saturday. Guys, girls, a lot of warrior athletes heading down to Tacoma this week. It should be a good time. Matthew, appreciate it, and best of luck
Thank
to
you.
you.
Thank
Lucas, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we will be hopefully talking about some warrior wins next week on the show.
One of the things I enjoy when we have the younger athletes with the older athletes is how there's that mentoring going on. It's really nice to see.
Yeah, and I've got to think Lucas gets pumped up when he hears Matthew talk about, and it reminds him that he was faster at this stage, or that Lucas is faster right now as a sophomore than both Matthew and Sam McLuhan were, and those are two very good runners. So
Yeah.
I think Lucas has better days ahead of him. He's going to do very well, not only this week, but I think he's going to do even better as he progresses and becomes a junior and a senior.
Yeah, and both the boys and the girls Edmonds-Woodway teams, I think, are going to have a lot to look forward to, both at state and also next year.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of talent on that team. And state's coming up this week, so I think Vernice Keys, the thrower, I think she's got a very good chance to win something there. And it's not only Edmonds-Woodway, too. We talked to Mountlake Terrace's
The whole
athletes last
district.
week. Lynnwood and Meadowdale, I think, has a few folks going there as well. So it's going to be exciting this week to see how all of our athletes do down there.
Yes, it will. And we've still got more. It's soccer.
Yeah, it's soccer, and it's the Mountlake Terrace Hawks who, lo and behold, find themselves in the Final Four of the state playoffs. They're in the semifinals. Picked up a 7-1 victory over Tyee earlier this week. No big surprise coming here, but Bobby Stoyanov, 4 goals in that game. I think he's up to 26 or 27, actually, I think, on the year right now. And then they turned around and they beat Highline 2-1 a couple nights later. Both of those games took place at Highline Stadium. So Mountlake Terrace will take on East Valley, a school out of Yakima. They're going to play them at 8 o'clock on Friday at Sunset Chevrolet Stadium down in Sumner. Just a little sponsor and a plug for them,
Boy,
even
I
though nobody
guess.
around here is going to go to Sumner to buy a car. But we do want you to go down there and watch the guys play. So 8 o'clock game for them. If they win that game, they're in the state championship at 5 o'clock on Saturday. And their opponent in that game would be either Archbishop Murphy or Cedar Crest, 2 teams that play out of the Cascade Conference here locally. So the 2 teams they might be familiar with. One we know they're familiar with. It's Archbishop Murphy, who is the 2-time defending state champ and also the team that knocked them off in the district championship game just a couple weeks ago. And that was a 2-1 game, so it was pretty close. So Mountlake Terrace, 2 wins away from possibly putting up a state championship banner.
Very, very good. And we've got a few more sports to get through.
We do. We're not done yet. It's state championship week. Golf, which is going to be the one to lead us off this week. Their state championships are on Tuesday and Wednesday. The boys are going to be over at Columbia Point in Richland, and we only have one male golfer from the area that's going to be attending that event, and that is Evan Olson from Meadowdale. So we certainly wish him all the best. And then the girls are going to be at Canyon Lakes Golf Club or golf course in Kennewick, and we do have 3 golfers that will be there. 2 from Edmonds-Woodway, which is Frances Monahan and Brianna Schalk, and then Abby Douglas from Lynnwood. So all 4 of our golfers, we wish them the best, and hopefully we'll have some positive news to report on them next week.
Yeah. And tennis.
Tennis, yes. One last sport to cover here. Championships coming up, the state tournament. We'll mention the girls first. It's not much to mention here. Olivia Olson, who we had in studio, I guess it was about a month ago now, from Edmonds-Woodway. She's going to be taking on Viv Daniels from Lakeside on Friday. It's the round of 16, so we'll see how Olivia can do there. And then we've got the boy tennis players. And this is kind of unique again in that the boys season in Wesco is during the fall. And the guys that qualified for state have to wait for a few months and then come back to it in May and then go to the state tournament. And we've got a few guys that are going to be playing in state. From Edmonds-Woodway, we've got a doubles team of Arun Koloki and Nick Burney. They'll be taking on a doubles team from Lakeside. And then we've also got Jeremy Ansdell from Mountlake Terrace, who will be participating in the 2A tournament. Tell me if this sounds familiar. Jeremy's going up against a guy from East Valley in Yakima. So the same school that the Terrace soccer team is going up against, Jeremy's going up against in tennis this week. So we've got a Terrace East Valley rivalry all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But and I should mention too, Jeremy's going to be participating in the 2A tournament, which is at the Nordstrom Tennis Center over at the University of Washington. He gets the short drive on this one. The 3A tennis players, they're going to be heading over to Kennewick. So a little more of a commute, but hey, you're at the state tournament. I don't think you care where it's at. You're just happy to be there.
Yeah, just probably a little warmer in the Tri-Cities.
Yeah, there is that too. Although the Nordstrom Tennis Center, I think, is indoors. So either way,
it is, yeah.
Jeremy's covered. No pun intended.
The Tri-Cities is not, because I went there a few years ago with my daughter, and it's hot. It's outdoors.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, it's a warm one.
Bring your sunscreen and bring your water.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, good. Well, boy, we're going to have a lot to tell you next week, and we hope it's all good news.
Oh, definitely.
And, it'll all
at
be
least some
good
of it
news.
anyway. So yeah, just the fact that these athletes have
Oh
all
my
made it
gosh,
there.
What accomplishments.
Yeah, what a great week. I mean, the fact that we've got teams in semifinals, 2 teams, girls teams winning district championships to put themselves in contention to win state championships. It's been a lot of fun, and like you said, hopefully just more good things to report on next week.
Yeah, we hope everybody has a great week. Enjoy all of the tournament action, and we'll have it all for you next week on This Week in High School Sports.